straight to the moon, get your tickets now. Everybody line up, get your tickets, we're going to Did you buy the tip? Yeah. Do you like rocket ships? Oh, what a human. You wanna try this shit? Yeah. We got everything you need, you better buy some bitty now. Everybody.
Alrighty people, welcome to SirToshi's Bitcoin chart show. This is the Bitcoin forecast, the strength of the system, the health of the network, where we find out what's up with what is going down and all around. It is just 20 past 12 on let me have a look at this date, Thursday the 10th of June 2021. We're going to rock it through this chart show because we're on the CoinGeek live break at the moment, so perfect opportunity to do a show and have a quick look at the figures. So let's just crack on with it, rock and roll, here we go. Alright, so for any newbies watching the show, I always start off with this graph because this graph basically shows us what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is a commodity, and the commodity gets its value from data sovereignty. So rather than uploading our family photos and precious wedding videos to a corporate server who can just simply delete them on a whim, that uses all the details that we give them to target advertisers to us, invade our privacy, we can now upload all of that onto a distributed single ledger technology. Now, the keyword is single. Single means it can be shared with everybody. Everybody is using the same ledger technology. It is a fantastic system. So there are three types of value that Bitcoin has. Bitcoin has fundamental value. So in other words, its USP, its unique selling point, its fundamental value comes from its neutral size and growth. It's what no other network can compete with. It's what makes it unique and truly decentralized. And it gets its decentralization from the 5 pillars of decentralization, which are accountability, locked protocol, infinite scale, competition, proof of work, and fixed supply. And aside from that, the network just simply needed to grow like a commodity does, but it needed to do that organically, which is why CSW had to hide himself for 10 years and dilute things as much as he could. So he released the white paper on the 31st of October 2008 to give anyone and everybody a reasonable opportunity to start the network themselves. Since nobody did, he then started the network on the 3rd of January 2009 himself, but under a pseudonym, and then just simply let the network grow for a period of 10 plus years. Well, 10 years, 362 days to be precise, before the Tulip Trust was returned to him. That is what no other network can compete with. So that's its fundamental value. Its technical value comes from the network's speed, cost and scale. In other words, its efficiencies in speed, cost and scale. And then its other value, its economic value, it gets from the service that it provides. And the service it provides is data privacy, data sovereignty, which is effectively our data freedom, which makes Bitcoin the most valuable commodity on the planet. It is awesome. So now we're just going to have a listen to a few short clips from the creator himself to see what he says about it. Have a listen.
Bitcoin, with a stable protocol, takes away power. If no one can change the protocol, not me, not God, there's no power in money.
There we go. If no one can change the protocol, there is no power in money. And if anybody is wondering about the potential that this network has, well, have a listen to him here.
At InChain, we've just funded a number of universities doing, so far, a test up to 1 gigabyte because it validates what we've already done independently. We've tested up to 380 gigabyte blocks. We've tested 1 million transactions a second, and transaction sizes up to 20 megabytes. Super complex scripts, basically ones that can run operating systems. That's all of global commerce times about 50. On top of that, we can have complex scripts. On top of that, we can scale each of those transactions 1,000 times, which effectively means about 1 billion transactions per second, which means we can then have all derivatives, all complex trades. That means high frequency trading. It means everything that happens globally.
There we go. All derivatives, high frequency trading, everything that happens globally. The entire world will run on the Bitcoin network. It is an absolutely phenomenal system. And let's have a listen to the motivation behind designing such a system.
At the end of the day, we own a lot of Bitcoin. The simple thing is, if we make the network scale, we make it bigger, my main compensation, more than anything anyone could ever pay me, is the price of Bitcoin goes up. So that's my pure drive. I want Bitcoin not to go up to 10,000 or 100,000. I want it to be worth millions per Bitcoin. That's it. And that's what we spend money for. Very simple.
There we go. That's what they spend money for. Very simple. And that's why there is such a hoo-ha and ding-dong, because it's the amount of money that is on the line. So let's have a look at that now, shall we? Here we go. This is what has happened. So obviously during the period of decentralization, Craig could not come out and say, I am Satoshi Nakamoto, I created Bitcoin, because it would have undermined its fundamental value, which comes from its neutral growth and size. Because they took over the network in 2017. He didn't get the keys back until the 1st of January 2020. So a group of nefarious developers called Blockstream segregated the chain of signatures, which centralized it under their control. And we're just going to have a listen to Peter McCormack explaining how they have changed Bitcoin beyond all recognition, so there is no longer a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, which basically means it's a piece of digital garbage. Take the floor, Pete.
Bitcoin is so different now from when Satoshi was here. It's a completely different project. It doesn't matter who Satoshi is anymore. Even if Satoshi came back, I don't think he would just be immediately welcomed as having this God-given right to decide what happens with Bitcoin. I think he would have to earn his right back into the project. Bitcoin is built based on consensus now.
Are you sure about that, Pete? Because it didn't sound like it to me. So now we're going to have a listen to Daniel Krauts conducting his interview with Tony Vays, and just listening to the ignorance and how confused Tony Vays is about the implications of SegWit. Have a listen.
Why do you think BTC is valuable?
It's valuable because it's the only unconfiscatable asset we have, and that is because that comes from its decentralization. I think Bitcoin is the only valuable crypto asset we have because of the nature of how it started in its first few years.
And when you say Bitcoin, you mean BTC, right?
Absolutely.
But are you aware that in 2017, they changed the rules so that BTC no longer follows the Bitcoin white paper?
That is not true at all.
The white paper says that there needs to be a chain of signatures.
Sure.
Okay, so that's not what we have anymore. That's how SegWit changed that.
Okay, but it's still Bitcoin.
It's not Bitcoin Toes because Tony Vays, because it has been centralized by Blockstream. It is fundamentally worthless because it is no longer a commodity. So the changes simply continued under a new ticker symbol, BCH, and then another group of developers decided they wanted to centralize control of the project, but they wanted it to work, but they wanted it to be anonymous. But anonymity means there is nothing holding the creator of the system to account, which means again it is a centralized project, and global trade and international commerce can never use it. And that was led by Roger Ver. So have a listen to Roger Ver telling people, or companies that need a regulatory compliant monetary system, what he thinks they should do.
The ones that say that the blockchains all need to be legally compliant about everything all the time, just go use your Visa card.
Fine, I will, you absolute buffoon. So let's have a quick look at these coin dance figures. Check it out. So we've got Coolcoin at 38,000, Bcrash 627, and Bitcoin at 171. So we'll just go to Coolcoin a second. Samson Mao, what can you tell us about Coolcoin?
Yeah,
Blockstream controls it.
Oh, what do you say to that, Max Kaiser?
All right.
Is that all you've got to say? And if you don't believe me that Roger Ver calls it Bcrash, have a listen here.
and we're going to really spread Bitcoin Crash across the entire country here in Antigua.
Yeah, good luck with that, Roger. So we've got a hash rate on Bitcoin 0.3%, network nodes 1.8, transaction volume 49.6, rinsing these other shitcoins, and block size, look at that, almost 90% of the block size, absolutely smashing it. Beautiful. So now we're just going to have a quick look at these blocks. But before we do that, we'll just have a quick chat with Michael Saylor, because he knows exactly what we are looking for. So, Michael, what can you tell us about Bitcoin? What do we want?
Big blocks.
That's right. What size?
$100 million chunks
Whereabouts?
on the blockchain.
That's right, mate. Well done. So let's have a quick look at this. So look at that. 29 megabyte block, 49 megabyte block. 5, 2, 13, 9, 6, 5, 6, 18, 3, 18, 6, 5, 4, 16, 17, 69, 78, 13, 27. Beautiful, beautiful data flowing through the chain. Love that. So again, this is hash rate. Hash rate follows price, follows value, follows utility, follows creativity, initiative, and intelligence. If you are intelligent and you apply creativity and initiative, you can make something useful. When something is useful, it can then create value. When it creates value, it can then develop a price. When it develops a price, it can then be measured against the cost of other goods and services and used as a medium of exchange. There we go. Shout out to people in the chat box. So we've got Keith Fellows and what's that? Fire Seal, is that right? Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. So proof of work by network, who cares? But Coolcoin and BTC, BCH or Bcrash would have simply fallen into their own footprint. Bcrash Bitcoin, proof of work, Bcrash Bitcoin, or a hash rate, Bcrash, we're going to proof of work, who cares? So it is 18,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Coolcoin, which looks like it's 12 times cheaper than Bcrash. Yeah, just amazing. So it's 1.1% more profitable to mine on Coolcoin. Who cares? Shows there's more competition for Bitcoin. But it's 2.7% more profitable to mine on Bcrash. Who cares? It's a joke. Daily average Bitcoin block size by network, Bitcoin absolutely smashing it. Transactions by network, Bitcoin winning. Transactions per block, Bitcoin winning. Fees USD, that's fees in the block. Fees Satoshis in the block. We want that to go big. So this is block reward against fees in the block ratio. Again, we'll just monitor this with time because expecting huge increase in price and volume. Look at this. Daily accumulated Bitcoin blockchain growth by network. Loving this. Here we go. Look at that. Oh, look at mind the gap. So we've got 373 gigabytes of data on the Bitcoin chain versus 356 gigabytes on Coolcoin versus 183 on Bcrash. Oh dear, honestly, like it's just fun to laugh at shitcoiners with shit for brains. Come on, see this, never mind. Love that, love that. Alright, in mind their gap. So hash rate 7 days, not as relevant as hash rate 24 hours. Probably going to look similar to Coolcoin. Yeah, almost identical there. What's this? Pooling, trading places with via BTC. And then we've got BTC.com and Binance in the mix there. Yeah, come on, CoinDance. Here we go. Showing us Bcrash. Look at this. Absolutely hilarious. All these shitcoin enterprises on the chain. It's embarrassing, but yeah, we know they're shitcoin enterprises. And this is Bitcoin. Oh, what have we got on here this morning? So we've got Matterpool on there. Excellent stuff. SV Pool and pooling. That's a rarity. So we've got F2 Pool, BTC.com and pooling. Mining on BSV. Gesturing. Who knows? Who knows? Keep an eye on that. But the whole idea is to squeeze any shitcoin enterprises off the chain so that they can't artificially surprise, because that's the only thing they know how to do. So, alright, let's just have a look at the size of the chain. Yeah, look at 19 gigabytes. 19 gigabytes in size. Beautiful, beautiful. Short positions, where are we? Oh, let's have some. Here we go. So, started off at 90 and we are at 90. Dear, oh dear. So, let's have a look at the Bitcoin blockchain working live in front of our very eyes. Refresh that page, I think. There we go. So for any newbies watching this for the first time, the vertical rectangular blocks at the top are their transactions being recognized by the nodes on the network, which they're recognized instantly the moment they're broadcast because they're picked up by 50% of the mining nodes. When they're picked up by the mining nodes, they're then placed in, or thrown into the memory pool, which is where they're computed for by the miners and payment processors in order to create a block, put the transaction within a block, and then place the block on the blockchain where they're rewarded with the Coinbase data, otherwise known as the block reward, otherwise known as freshly minted Bitcoin. So if we see this block here of 554 megabytes, in the highlighted rectangular box below that, we've got the hash of the block height, who it was mined by, size, time, date, the transaction count, and the total fees of $88.72. So it's these fees which will eventually surpass the block reward, as the block reward continues to get cut in half every 210,000 blocks. So we're just going to let Laura Shin explain the significance of fees in the block. Here we go. Take the floor, shitcoin Shin.
So, as you mentioned, at a certain point when the block reward stops, there will be a transition where miners will be compensated in transaction fees, not in the block reward. And the current amount that they earn is from fees is about 9% of the block reward. And so we'd have to see transaction fees 11x by roughly 2140, which is when the new Bitcoins will stop being minted. But I just wondered, if we don't see an increase in the amount of transactions that can happen at layer one, because the number of layer one transactions is limited. And right now, I feel like a lot of the scaling is focusing on layer two. Can transaction fees 11x in that time, or will that require people to pay a lot more per transaction?
Over the next couple halving cycles, we should see it start to predominantly be the value that is compensated to the miners in the block reward. If Bitcoin is the world reserve currency that doesn't have a strong security model, like there's not a lot of monetary compensation in the block reward due to transaction fees, well, then its long-term security will be weak. If it is the world reserve currency, there'll be very, very many layer one transaction fees.
Okay, yeah. So it sounds like you think it is possible that the amount in transaction fees will maybe not be enough on layer one to replace the block reward when the time comes.
It absolutely won't be enough to cover the block reward when the time comes, because it can only handle 7 transactions per second. How's that going to support the miners? That's absolutely insane. And he knows it. He knows it. Yeah, but that's why we call them shitcoiners. Shit for brains. I mean, look at the network that they have to sustain. Look at this. This just blows my mind. Blows my mind. It really does. So all these mining operations here that you're looking at, this is what goes. This is what Bitcoin runs through. This is the network that supports Bitcoin. So imagine a network that only does 7 transactions per second trying to finance all this lot. It's absolutely insane. But like I said, one shitcoin is shit for brains. But there we go. What we just looked at there, all the hardware is what goes towards generating this that we're looking at. This is the blockchain working live in front of our eyes. It is beautiful. Let's have a look at charts quickly, see if there's any movers and shakers. Always worth checking. No, that's all right. It's all right. Always worth checking. Always worth checking. There we go. So this is BitInfo charts. Look at this. So Bitcoin now with 13.7% of the overall transactions, and that's on the entire shit show. So if you want to do a bit of due diligence, all you've got to do is check out these 10 shitcoins here, and you'll soon find out that Bitcoin, which is BSV, is the only genuine digital commodity. None of these other shitcoins have any value whatsoever. And just have a listen to those who created it. Right. So XRP, have a listen to XRP Ripple's Chief Technology Officer explaining that XRP is a completely centralized project. Take the floor, David Schwartz.
The XRP is a digital asset. It's censorship resistant. It's publicly traded. It trades on the XRP ledger. Ripple does not own or control the XRP ledger in any way.
So how did Ripple then get all the XRP that it has? It has about half the supply. So just how did that particular transaction happen?
So the way its design works is when the ledger first began operation, the 100 billion XRP, all that will ever exist, were sort of up for grabs. And lots of people grabbed XRP out of that system, but it just so happens that obviously, just like early miners mined, huge amounts of Bitcoin before the public knew about it or was using it, early XRP users grabbed large amounts of that pool of XRP. And so the people who developed the ledger wound up with, the vast majority of it.
What a joke. They're trying to make out that XRP is decentralized. Oh, yeah, but developers who developed the system just grabbed it. So they took it. Bitcoin is competitive. That is what makes it truly decentralized and a commodity. He's never going to get away with going to the SEC and saying, oh, yeah, you can grab it. It's absolutely insane. And now let's have a listen to one of the founders of Ethereum and talking about how they knew it wasn't going to scale. For sure, absolutely insane.
It scales somewhat. Initial plans or initial thinking. We knew it wasn't going to be scalable for sure.
Yeah, so we knew Ethereum wasn't going to be scalable for sure. Next. Let's have a look at transactions. 24 hours. 3 years log. Look at this. This is Bitcoin. You can see the transactions, the uptick there in the transactions. Beautiful, beautiful. This is when the original protocol escaped from those nefarious entities who want to cripple it so it doesn't work and make it non-regulatory compliant, so global trade and international commerce can't use it. And look at the progress it's made. Absolutely beautiful. Love that. Scaling test network. So as we know, this is going to be made obsolete almost by the end of the month. As Shadows demonstrated Terranode at the CoinGeek conference yesterday. So let's have a quick look at that. There we go. Right, and now let's have a listen to our man Shadows. Check it out.
We have run this across all 10 nodes, and I have actually seen volumes in excess of 100,000 per second. I wasn't quite brave enough to try that one today, live on stage, but there we have a real-life example of a Terranode that is able to scale. If I had more time, I would show you one that's actually running at a steady-state capacity and show that it actually can continue for a long period of time without any problems.
Beautiful, beautiful, absolutely amazing. So he demoed there, if you can see in the bottom right of the picture, 50.5 transactions per second. Absolutely amazing. And then listen to this disclaimer.
For reference, we don't think that the Bitcoin SV software would be able to handle a validation rate like that at this point in time.
There we go, at this point in time. So, and now we're just going to listen to the roadmap. Here we go.
At the end of this month, we're hoping to actually have alpha versions of Terranode listening on the mainnet. They won't be trying to produce blocks. They'll just be listening and processing peer-to-peer messages. We'll also build, we have built scale testnets, global scale testnets for the Terranode specifically. We can't do this on the scaling testnet because we'll crush it. Because we have proven that Terranode can scale, we've proven what Satoshi always said about Bitcoin. Bitcoin can and does scale. Thank you very much.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Look, it would crush the scaling test network. So we're very much looking forward to Terranode coming online. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, very exciting, very exciting. Let's have a look at trends.cash. So apps ranking by money spent. Oh, RelayX giving TDXP a run for the money. Good to see that. Apps ranking by performed actions. Look at this run and crypto fights. Crypto fights with 33.9%. The run protocol, I'm assuming that's the run protocol, 35.5. Amazing. Loving seeing all these developments on chain. Beautiful, beautiful. Crypto Quant, so again, this is a BTC all exchanges reserves. You can see they have been cashing out over the last 18 months because they know it's an absolute pile of dog shit. Now, them cashing out has caused a squeeze in liquidity, which along with all the tether printing has caused a massive spike in their price. It's a huge bubble. Beware. What's on chain? So just have a look at Bitcoin as a utility. Look at this estimated next block size, 35 megabytes. Memory pool usage currently at 43.94 megabytes. Beautiful, beautiful. This is what a memory pool is meant to look like. This is 24 hours. So this must have been the 554 megabyte block. all the data coming in here, but data comes in, then it gets cleared. Data comes in, then it gets cleared. That's what a memory pool is meant to look like. Let's have a look at BTC. What a memory pool is not meant to look like is this. Where it can't be cleared. Look at all the algae on there. Dear oh dear. And you can see the effects that it actually has on the networks here. There we go. I mean, look at this. So we got the mempool size on BTC going up again, 16 megabytes, and they're trying to clear that using 1 megabyte blocks approximately every 10 minutes. So let's just have a listen to Adam Back, the Chief Technical Officer, the Chief Executive Officer at Blockstream, explaining what he thinks is acceptable for BTC. Here we go.
Fee estimation in some cases is quite bad. If you're paying a friend, you can probably afford to wait 4 hours and not pay a priority fee.
There we go. If you're paying a friend, you can probably afford to wait 4 hours. Like, who the hell would want to do that? It's so ridiculous. Yeah, it just goes to show you his mindset, really. And then we've got Vitalik. So we've got a median transaction fee, still 77 USD. So knowing that Ethereum couldn't scale for sure anyway. And now let's listen to him mocking BTC with a 5 cents transaction. Have a listen.
The internet of money should not cost 5 cents a transaction. It's kind of absurd.
There we go. So why does your internet of money cost 77 cents then, Vitalik? Do you want to explain that? Maybe it's because your network is an absolute pile of shit. So talking about a shit show, let's have a look at our own shit show. You can see the amount of money that has gone on, been printed recently. Is just hugely debased the currency. And let's have a listen to the effects of what happens to a currency when it's debased.
Statistical analysis has found that every time an empire begins to near its own demise, you'll find that its currency will be debased.
Yeah, people getting desperate to try to hold on to it. So let's have a listen to the regulators and find out if they are monitoring any of this excessive printing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Inspector Coleman, you're the Inspector General for the Federal Reserve, right? Okay.
That's correct.
I have a copy of the Inspector General Act here in front of me, and it says, among other things, that it's your responsibility to conduct and supervise audits and investigations relating to the programs and operations of your agency.
That's correct.
So I'm asking you if your agency has, in fact, according to Bloomberg, extended $9 trillion in credit, which, by the way, works out to $30,000 for every single man, woman, and child in this country. I'd like to know, if you're not responsible for investigating that, who is?
No, we have responsibility for the Federal Reserve's programs and operations, audits, to conduct audits and investigations in that area. In terms of who's responsible for investigating, would you mind repeating the question one more time?
The question is, have you done any investigation or auditing of off-balance sheet transactions conducted by the Federal Reserve? Do you know who received that money?
I don't know if you're telling me that you're mentioning that there's losses. I'm just saying that we're not, until we actually look at the program and have the information, we are not in a position to say whether there are losses or to respond in any other way to that particular.
Mr. Chairman, my time is up, but I have to tell you honestly, I am shocked to find out that nobody at the Federal Reserve, including the Inspector General, is keeping track of this.
Unbelievable. Yeah, very believable. Is all this excessive money printing doing anything? Let's have a look at the velocity of money. No, it's not. Now, let's have a guess as to where that money might be going.
How can we seriously consider a $50 billion increase in the defense budget when DOD's own auditors say the department cannot account for $2.3 trillion in transactions in 1 year alone? Now, my question to you is, Mr. Secretary, what do you plan to do about this?
Decline the nomination.
Oh, it's just so funny. It's just so funny. I just can't account for $6 billion a day for an entire year. Oh my God. Ridiculous. So is it, and I have a look at what the chart looks like now. Look at that. Unbelievable. Dropped off a cliff. So knowing that Bitcoin is the only thing that can save us, how are we feeling about it? CoinGecko, 69%. Oh, could do that in the 80s, but never mind. Morning run. Oh my God. Please, people, stay away from this. It's got a 24-hour trade volume of $13,000. You know, just stay away from this Ponzi shit show. I'm absolutely livid that this is still on there. Do not buy any of this crap. You know, well, unless you're a shitcoin or a shit for brains. Fine by me. Huh. Right, let's have a look at the depth chart. So we've got a 5.1 million asks versus a 5.8 million bids. So more buyers than sellers at the moment. That's quite positive, but we're expecting these numbers to increase significantly when the price goes up. Let's have a look at BSV USD on Bitfinex. Oh, looking good, looking good. All right, let's have a look at BTC USD. Ugh. You know, it's the El Salvador news and all that. Let's have a look at BTC versus BSV, genuine Bitcoin. Oh, you know, trending down a little bit. Never mind, never mind. Let's have a look at the entire shit show. Yeah, so sort of like bits and bobs, mostly green, but again, you know, shitcoiners be shitcoining. That's kind of like all we can say. Bitcoin now at 33 in the charts. Look at that. You can still pick it up for $170. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. When was the last? Let's have a look at when Bitcoin was $170 last time. You know, this is how early we are. Look at this. So where are we? So yeah, $170. Look at that. So October, end of October 2013 is when it was last at these prices. That is early. That is early. Amazing. To think that we can do this now, just amazing. Let's have a look at my chart show. 561 subscribers going up, 82 in the last 28 days. Loving that. Let's have a look at some of my videos. Have a look at the Stephen Matthew one and Ellie Gonsalves, 413, 479. All right, let's have a look at the douchebags of Bitcoin playlists. I wonder if any of these are going to get to 300 views. 300 views. So let's have a look at Samson Mao here. So we've got 280. So that's still going up. Still going up. Let's have a look at Adam Back. Where is he? 278. Just 2 behind Samson Mao. Let's have a look at Dan Held. 264. 3rd place. And let's have a look at these two douchebags from Crypto Banter. 250. Wow. So Samson Mao only just clinging on there in front of Adam Back. People getting themselves an education. Love it. Streamanity, 286 follows on there. $2.60 for my Greg Maxwell video. Loving that. Let's have a look at Twitch. Here we go. Followers. Have a look at new users. Reported by Acorn Stack. Here we go. Let's have a little look. Where are we? 34. Oh, measly. Measly in comparison to the 3,000 that we had the other day. Even though 3,000 of them were probably Greg Maxwell accounts. Look at that. 3,241. Let's have a look at Ruthie. Where are we now? 968. Twitler allowing the tweets to add up. Or the likes to add up on her tweet. Good stuff. Let's have a look at Arman Satoshi. Where is he? There we go. Is he on 78,500? I'm sure that was 79 the other day when we looked. But yeah, let's have a look at stablecoin printer just quickly. Come on, let's have a look. Stablecoin printer. Any ridiculous amounts being printed from Tether over the last sort of 24 hours? No. Oh, it's USDC across the board. Wow, amazing. All right, 34 minutes. There we go. Shout out to people in the chat box this morning. Start from the top. Keith Fellows, Theoretical. Is that theoretical? Something like that. Seikoko Mons, Anai. I'm probably pronouncing that really badly. Arcade Rob as well. Somebody else asking me if I want to be famous. No, I wouldn't. If I want to be famous, I wouldn't block everybody, would I? And there we go. So we're now up to date with the figures, people. I can see that's 35 minutes gone. Hope you're enjoying CoinGeek Conference. They should be finished by about now. So let's get back to it. Catch you guys later. Get paid for posting your pics on Relica. Download the app now at www.getrelica.com. Get your tweet etched on Twitch. forever on the Bitcoin blockchain. Do it today at www.jointwitch.com. BuyBSV.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online. Support independent content creators on micropayment platforms such as Streamanity, Twitch and Relica. We should profit from our data, not the large corporations who track, monitor and sell it. If you enjoy the Bitcoin content that I produce, please support me by heading over to www.sirtoshi.tv, where you can keep up to date with all the latest news, gossip and content as it's created. Thanks very much. To get started in Bitcoin, go to freebsv.com, where you can claim your free Bitcoin. Then head over to Twitter and follow @IamSirToshi, where you can take part in his very generous and world famous free giveaways. The future of advertising meets the power of Bitcoin at Tonic Pow. Get paid for posting advertising campaigns to your social media profiles. Go to www.tonicpowads.com.